Hi everyone, I am very excited to announce that version 4 of the Divine Triangle Numerology Spreadsheet is now available. As you can see, it looks very similar to the previous versions, except now it shows you your number vibrations for every single day. There is also a Divine Triangle tab and a Cycles tab to help you visualize the phases of your life in different ways. When you first open up the spreadsheet, you'll see this tab called Instructions. Up here you'll see I've written, this chart is based on the books Numerology and the Divine Triangle by Faith Javane and Dusty Bunker, and Numerology and Your Future by Dusty Bunker. And throughout this video I will be referring to them as the first book and the second book respectively. These books and this spreadsheet use the Pythagorean system of numerology. However, there are other numerology systems available. I encourage you to reference these books whenever possible when using this spreadsheet, as they provide more detailed descriptions of the numerical vibrations, so there will be less chance of any misinterpretation. Now, before I dive into showing you how to use the chart, I would like to read this disclaimer. It's something that I think a great deal of people overlook, and something that everyone should be aware of. The Ascended Masters warn against giving away your power to anything which puts the suggestion of limitation in the mind and feelings, especially the idea and feeling that there is something outside of you that is more powerful than the life within you. This is the greatest falsehood ever uttered, and the person who claims a number can affect you is uttering another great falsehood. When you are in connection with your presence of life, which you always are at some level, this is often referred to non-denominationally as Source, and that presence is the infinite creative power of life that you are. This is why the Ascended Masters refer to it as the mighty I Am presence. It is the infinite field of consciousness, of which you are localized. The presence or source gives you life and identity, or conscious awareness, which it is, and we then qualify and color its energy by our thoughts and feelings. So simply, what we are aware of creates our conscious experience. Be wary of any spiritualisms. These include numerology, astrology, tarot, dowsing, and all forms of magic or magic, basically anything that draws your attention to the outside thing as having power to limit your world. Therefore, if you yield to it, the responsibility is yours. A spiritualism refers to a system or body of information, religious or secular, that one may identify with. A spirituality, on the other hand, refers to an ongoing practice or way of being that facilitates a connection with Source. The Source being this I Am presence that is the seat of one's identity, which goes on to define their beliefs, thoughts, feelings, and attitudes, which in turn create their experience and way of being. Notice how spiritualism is limiting, and how spirituality is freeing, since when you identify with Source, you cannot be limited. Systems such as this do have value in helping the student discover themselves and the patterns in which their karma is naturally attempting to balance itself, both of which are activities of life, self-discovery and balancing, to facilitate a greater connection to Source, which may guide them as accurately as they will it to. So, in essence, don't seek truth in the numbers or the vibrations they represent, but seek to understand your personal truth from a higher perspective, by using them as a tool or roadmap. Please keep that in mind whenever you use this chart. If any of that seems unclear, I will be able to answer your questions about it in the comments. However, I recommend checking out the Ascended Master teachings at these links here. The same links will also be in the description of this video. Also, please do not use this spreadsheet to judge others. Seek first to understand their perspective, and then use this spreadsheet to answer any questions they have. And of course, there is nothing inherently divine about the Divine Triangle or this spreadsheet. That is just its name. Down here, there are also a few Edgar Cayce quotes from the book, which highlight the basis and purpose of numerology. Okay, so now I'll go over how to use and interpret the results of your chart. In the My Chart tab, type in your first and middle name without a space, starting here. I will usually hit caps lock and then press tab after each letter to move the cursor to the next box. Let's enter the example name used in the first book, Ada Wynn Lunt. If you have the first book, you can follow along starting on page 17. The surname or last name will start over here. the chart will automatically fill in the necessary boxes here, so you don't need to type anything in manually anymore. According to the second book, if there is a Y in your name, then you get a second soul number and a second outer personality number. So you'll notice that these pink boxes have appeared over here and also in this section below. If you have a W in your name, it may be an exception if it makes a vowel sound. This is usually when it follows a D or a G and makes an OO sound, such as in the names Dwayne or Gwen. So if your name has this exception, then make sure to type a 5 under any W that makes a vowel sound, here in the vowel row, like so. The other 5 in the consonant row will then disappear. This is the only time you will ever need to type anything in except your name and birth date. However, the W in this name is not a vowel, so I'll just hit Ctrl-Z to change that back. We'll input the birth date here, which is November 12th, 1940. You no longer need to type the month, day, and year separately as before. Make sure to type the month first, then the day, and finally the year. So now that we've input a name and birth date, let's take a look at the personal numbers box up here in the corner. These are the only personal numbers on the spreadsheet, so you'll look up the vibration for them in the Personal Vibrations tab. All the rest of these numbers below, and all the numbers in the My Cycles tab, are temporary numbers, so you'll look up the vibration for those in the Temporary Vibrations tab. For each of the personal numbers, they will need to be interpreted based on what they describe. The soul number describes who you already are, or your intrinsic expression of Source. The outer personality number describes how others see you, but it does often relate to the way you see and judge yourself, and also describes the mask or persona that you present to others. The Path of Destiny number describes what you need to do to move forward along your life's path, so in my opinion this is the most important vibration to understand. And then the Life Lesson number describes what you will be guided to learn and realize throughout your life. You'll also notice that there is this new box here. This is the Power number, which comes into effect after you're about 30, so it won't actually appear unless the individual is older than 27. This is because, if we look in the Divine Triangle tab, when we turn 27 we move from the Youth Square to the Power Square. So if I change the birth date, you'll see that disappear and then reappear when I change it back. The Power number describes the main forces that motivate you after entering this phase in your life. If you want to calculate the Power number for somebody under 27, simply add their Path of Destiny number to their Life Lesson number, and if it's over 78, reduce it by adding the digits together. So if the Life Lesson number was, say, 48 instead of 37, we would add 41 to 48, and then get 89, then 8 plus 9 is 17, and 1 plus 7 is 8. Their Power number would then be a 17/8. So let's look up Ada's personal numbers over here in the Personal Vibrations tab. Her soul number is both a 5 and a 12/3, and because of this, one of these vibrations can seem more influential than the other at times, and they may also fluctuate or exist simultaneously at other times. The 5 vibration suggests that she is someone who needs to have freedom. She is a natural explorer and experimenter. She is versatile, impulsive, and she has a lot of energy. She will have to choose between physical indulgence and mental progress on a regular basis, possibly even moment to moment. For someone with a 5 as their soul number, it is difficult for these paths to coexist. The 12/3 vibration suggests that Ada is wise and spiritually analytical. In turn, she is good at providing guidance and accepting of diversity. Her philosophy on life may go against the views of society around her. However, she is confident in it, and so develops a strong sense of inner peace. Since 12 reduces to a 3, we would then also look at what it says in the 3 vibration, and continue interpreting based on the personal number in question. However, to keep the video as brief as possible, I'll just be reading the main vibrations. Ada's outer personality number is both a 36/9 and a 29/11. The 36/9 suggests that she will appear to others as being persistent, energetic, having common sense, and executive or leadership abilities. She may be seen or see herself as having a heavy burden. She may have a high level of intuition when dealing with people, which leads her to discover more about them and herself. Additionally, she is sympathetic towards others. Since 36 reduces to a 9, we would also look at what it says in the 9 vibration and continue interpreting based on which personal number we are considering. For the 2911 vibration, we don't write it as a 29-2 since 11 is a master number. So in the personal numbers box, it will now show if you have a master number, including an 88 or a 99. The way that master numbers work is they will demand more effort from you and in turn will give you a greater opportunity for advancement or achievement. If you have a master number as a personal number, then throughout your life, your self-expression will fluctuate between the master number and the single-digit reduced number, depending on how you rise to the challenge of that vibration. If the master number is a temporary number, then your experience will only fluctuate between the master number and the single-digit reduced number during that temporary cycle. The 2911 as an outer personality number suggests that Ada may appear to others as being tested and may subconsciously place challenges and tests on herself. She will appear or attempt to appear to others as an individualist, generous, and having business success. Events in her outer world may lead her to have uncertainty about her environment or her perceived life story. Additionally, being too proud or arrogant could hurt her outer relationships, and learning to cooperate will help her to connect with the people and world around her. Since 29 reduces to 11 and then a 2, we would also look at what it says in the 11 vibration and the 2 vibration and continue interpreting based on the personal number in question. Ada's path of destiny number is a 41-5, and this suggests that she will need to be very versatile, be productive, do things with enthusiasm, accept worldly pleasures, be loving and faithful, and use her courage and creativity to move her life forward. May have many children may refer to producing creative works or bringing inventions to fruition, and not always actual children. This suggests that Ada will have to direct her energies in a fertile way. Where it says avoid hedonism, warnings such as this usually apply most to the soul number. However, it suggests that Ada's life could stagnate during times when she becomes more self-indulgent. Ada's life lesson number is a 37-1, and this vibration suggests that her experiences will help her to learn to be calm and mature, acquire the desire to lead. She will be led to value her family and security, become generous, learn to balance her attraction to business and religion or spirituality. Perhaps she will pick up some militant qualities, such as being more aggressive in order to achieve her goals. And her experiences may also cause her to learn to enjoy travel and international projects. In the same way, we can interpret Ada's power number, a 78-6, which suggests that after around the age of 30, she will be motivated by or be inspired to have or embody the experiences and characteristics described by that vibration. Now let's go over the temporary vibrations and how to interpret them. All of the numbers in green boxes down here are temporary numbers, as well as any pink boxes here that show up if you have a Y in your name. All of the numbers that you'll see in the My Cycles tab are also temporary vibrations. I'll start by going over the Divine Triangle vibrations, since these can often be the most influential experiences that we have. We can see that Ada would be 79 years old as of the making of this video. So then we can scroll down, and if any of these vibrations were to be active during the year in which she is 79, it would show a red arrow next to it. However, we can see that that is not the case since the ages are shown here and the corresponding vibrations are shown next to them. The ages are not always going to be in order simply because of the way that these numbers are calculated. You'll notice that Ada is coming up on another 37-1 vibration, which will begin on her 80th birthday. You may also have realized that this is the same as her life lesson number, and that it pops up many times throughout the major process. This is because the temporary vibration experiences of the 37-1 will teach her to adopt the characteristics and perspectives of the personal vibration 37-1. I would also like to point out now that the vibrations derived from the major process and the minor process are not major or minor in relation to each other. Some vibrations from the minor process may appear more pronounced or influential than those from the major process, and vice versa. So then let's take a look at the temporary vibration for 37-1. For Ada, this will be in effect between her 80th and 81st birthday. This vibration suggests that it will be a calm and happy time. Success will come to her through influential friends. She will be drawn to and or protective of her family. It can be a prosperous time for her, and travel may be required to achieve what she desires at this time. This can also be a good time for partnerships, whether in terms of love or business. Now let's go back and go over the other types of temporary vibrations that you'll experience throughout life. This column on the left shows your yearly and 4-month period vibrations. Ada's vibration for 2020 is a 27-9 and will begin on her birthday of that year. This means that until November 12, 2020, Ada will be experiencing her 2019 vibration, and we can find that out by typing 2019 in this box here. So her vibration for 2019 is a 35-8. We can then see that the 4-month period of a 19-1 lasted from her birthday in 2019 to March 12, 2020. Her next 4-month period was a 13-4, occurring between March 12, 2020 and July 12, 2020. And the 4-month period which she is currently experiencing as of the making of this video is both an 8 and a 6. This is because the third 4-month period of each year is calculated by adding the soul number to the current year. And since Ada has a Y in her name, she has 2 soul numbers, and therefore she gets a dual vibration for each third 4-month period of the year. The monthly vibrations in the next column also begin on the day you were born each month. So for Ada, if it is not past the 12th day of the month, then she will still be experiencing the vibration of the past month. You'll notice that the red arrow has moved down here to indicate her current monthly vibration. If I change the year back to 2020, that arrow will move back up and show the same current monthly vibration of 44-8. This other arrow here points out your birth month, so you can visualize when your yearly vibrations start and then transition to the next one. Over here in the days column, you'll notice that the year here will always match the year that you type here in this box. If you change the year, then the daily vibrations shown will be for that year. So you can look at all the daily vibrations for any year you choose. For now, let's leave it on 2020 so that we're looking at what's current. If I scroll down, you'll see that the birth date is highlighted in red and the current day is highlighted in yellow. So right here is where it will show the current daily vibration. Just like with the other vibrations, your daily vibration will begin at the time of day you were born. And if you don't know your time of birth, that's okay. I have included the method from the second book, which tells you how to estimate it. That's over here in the instructions tab at the bottom of the notes section here. Also keep in mind that the daily vibrations are usually very weak in terms of their influence compared to the longer monthly or yearly vibrations. Over here in the My Cycles tab, if I scroll down to the bottom, there is a nice little graphic to help you visualize this. The top wave here is from the cover of the second book. Underneath that, you can see how the shorter waves or cycles are lesser in intensity and combine to form a more complex wave, which describes the experience of your life. Now this wave looks pretty standard and even, but there will be a lot of variation in the intensity of certain temporary cycles or vibrations for you personally, depending on how you receive them or react to them specifically. So this tab here is all about analyzing the cycles of your vibrations. Now what does that mean? So in the second book, it is explained that each temporary vibration has a beginning and a peak point, as well as 2 action points that are about halfway between them. This box here will give you a quick explanation of what those mean. The beginning is pretty self-explanatory. This is where the vibration starts and the seed of its full expression is planted. Then about a quarter of the way through the cycle, the first action point will require some action from you, although sometimes, depending on the vibration, it won't feel like an action or task. It may be more of a passive reaction to the events in your life. Either way, the nature of your actions in this phase will go on to determine how the vibration will culminate during the peak point. This is the theoretical harvesting of the fruit, which was planted when the vibration began. Then, About 3/4 of the way through the cycle, there is another action point, and your actions during this phase will influence the way that the vibration transitions into the next one. Here is where you can put in your time of birth. If Ada's time of birth was, let's say, 8:30 p.m., then her daily vibration would begin at 8:30 in the evening. Her first action point would be around 2:30 a.m. Her peak point would occur around 8:30 a.m. the next morning, and her second action point would be around 2:30 p.m. So now that I've explained the action points and peak points, let's scroll back up to the top and take a look at the other vibrations shown. The top row here shows your 27-year cycles, which are taken from the squares in the Divine Triangle layout. Since Ada is 79 years old, we can scroll to the right and see that there is a red arrow here indicating her current position in the cycle. So we can see that she is nearing the end of the Wisdom Square and about to enter into the New Youth Square. In the first book, it says that you only experience this vibration beyond 81 if you are still in control of your mental faculties. If not, then at 81 you start over at the beginning of the Youth Square here. The Divine Triangle tab shows how this looks when you do the calculations on paper. So we have the Youth Square vibration lasting 27 years, and same for the Power Square and the Wisdom Square. You'll notice that each of the lines around the outside here have the letters of Ada's name, and these represent her 9-year cycles. Down below is the New Youth Square, and at this point these become 21-year cycles. So if we go back to the My Cycles tab, we can see those 9-year cycles here, and just below we can see the dates of the action points and peak points for each vibration. Below that are the temporary vibrations for each year. The current age will always be shown in the middle here, and you can also see several years before and after. Remember, if you want to look up a vibration outside that range, you can always go back to the My Chart tab and type in the desired year in this box here. Back in the My Cycles tab, below that you'll see the 4-month vibrations and the monthly vibrations, and finally the daily vibrations. Keep an eye out for the red arrows as they show you which vibrations you're currently experiencing and your position within those cycles. One last point I want to remind you of is that the descriptions of the vibrations in the tabs over here are just my own summarization of what's in the first book, so I definitely recommend that you at least get the first book so that you have a more detailed description for each vibration. I believe that covers everything you'll need to know about using the version 4 template. The link to buy the spreadsheet is in the description, as well as all the links where you can buy the numerology books and the books on the Ascended Master teachings. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below, or you can contact me at my email, which will also be in the description. Thank you for watching. I hope you all find this spreadsheet as well as this video useful, and have yourself a wonderful day.